Hello, my name is Visor. Welcome to episode 22 of Let's Play The Witcher 2. Last episode, shit hit the fan when a lynch mob formed trying to kill Prince Stennis. They accused him of poisoning Saskia. Currently, we're following a few leads, like what happened to Baltimore, the master of one of these suspects. We're currently following his hidden directions, and it led us outside of Elton's house. Well, sort of. You can see Elton's hut down there. Anyway, the important thing is, though, this is the direction from the village, which means if we look at the map... Actually, no, wait. I should look at Baltimore's directions, because I don't think you guys memorized that yet. You can see all this first bit, all of that is just to lead us to the crossroads. And here, every road you need to take, yet the middle one is safe. That's the road toward the quarry and Elton's hut. If you follow that, you'll find these Ingrid signs, and you'll follow his design. So we're going to head toward the quarry, we're going to see some stuff and find something. Then it talks about coming back and taking a different path, and we'll find a drowned soul. We'll talk about that later. Now, when we head in this direction, like when we did the Harpy quest earlier, there were actually these signs nearby where Geralt will start talking. There's one right over here, actually. See?
Magic or danger?
Yeah, see, this is related to Baltimore's nightmare. So before, when we did the Harpy quest and Geralt will talk occasionally, that's what it was all about. Really, we triggered most of them, so you're not going to see anything. But either way, we're going to follow them all the way back to the bottom of the quarry, and it'll hopefully lead to his design, whatever that means. Alright, here we are at the bottom of the quarry, but this time, instead of heading toward the gate and going to Harpy Lair, we're going to head a slightly different direction. Instead, we'll head up here, and at the very top we should find a treasure chest, which will be unlocked by the key we just got. And inside this locked chest is another key. So we traded keys for keys. We're going to use that for the next part of this quest. Now remember back to Baltimore's directions, we talked about heading right, which is toward the troll lair, and seeing a drowned soul. For a drowned soul, you sort of need water, and maybe near the water there are boats. So we're heading to that broken boat. Alright, here we are at the sunken boat. Can't head in that direction because that's the mist. However, over here, why, there's something behind those vines. Now this is where we use the runic key to unlock this door. And inside we find a hidden quarter for Baltimore's research or whatever. There's some resources around, but most importantly, there's a chest over here full of runes, like 5 different runes.
I knew you were hiding something from me, Witcher.
I wasn't the only one to hide something. Baltimore's notes state that the Master will return from the grave to meet with you.
Nobody returned from where we sent him.
You just admitted to murder.
Aye? But what of it? No one beside you knows, and you'll not leave here alive. Get him, lads!
Aw, that's cute. They're gonna fight me. There we go. All the Igni takes care of the other 2. So now we just need to fight Thorak. And dead. Super, super dead. Make sure to loot his body. He actually has another key on him. Really, there's a lot of keys in this quest. But if you pay attention to the original loot we got from Baltimore's chest, we got like 4 or 5 runes, a beaver cap, which would have helped with the Wraith and the catacombs, as well as notes accusing Thorak to be the death of Baltimore. Now, Cecil needs to hear about that because he originally put up a mission board about finding more details on Baltimore's death. On Thorak's body, we had some meteor bits, a diagram for Hunter's armor, which we already got in the previous chapter, and another key that we have to find a hole for. Alright, here we are again. Now that Thorak and the apprentices are all dead, we can go raid their room. Hopefully we'll find a place for his key. Alright, let's see. Bread, bedding. Hey, a box. I can probably take a key, right? And inside we find some interesting stuff, including Olkin's receipt. I wonder what that's for. Let's see. We also get a diagram for a robust yellow meteor sword. Not really something I'm going for, but it's kind of nice if you're going for that playstyle. Anyway, he just got the chalice. He says it's kind of shoddy looking, but as long as it works, he'll give him the rest of his payment. Obviously, that can't happen because Olkin's dead. But hey, now Thorak is dead too, so I guess it works out? Maybe? I don't know. However, now, even though we know Olkin was involved in some sort of plot, we still don't know whether Prince Stennis was involved. In fact, I don't think we ever really get any hard evidence. So, what are we going to do about that? Well, I don't know. For now, we're going to go bother Cecil, because he's going to give us a reward for finding out Baltimore's fate, at least. Where is he? Ah, he's sleeping, because it's dead at night.
By the pricks of the male gods! Master Baltimore's notes! Where did you get them?
I discovered his vault near the troll's lair. By the way, Thorak, your new runemaster, is dead. He and his 2 apprentices have left for a better world.
What? How did it happen?
Thorak murdered Baltimore. There's enough evidence in the notes I just gave you.
Thanks, Witcher. A reward for your labors. It's not much, but I'll be needing funds to appoint and equip a new runemaster now.
Cool. And now it's actually a really nice reward. Check it out. You get this beautiful sword that is much better than the Sword of the Dung Banner. Plus, it has 3 rune slots. And luckily, we just got a fuck ton of runes from killing Thorak. Well, it was actually from Baltimore. But then we killed Thorak because of him. There we go. I mean, the pommel alone, I think, is great looking. And if you take out the blade, it has a slight jaggedness to it. I don't know whether you can see it or not. Anyway, now that we have all this evidence, let's go back to the castle and see what we can do for Prince Stennis, even though it's not really conclusive. Oh look, the squirrels have their bows drawn. That should be a fun situation.
It's good to see someone's taking care of it.
Enough of this charade! Try to be reasonable, folks. Sit down and talk in peace.
We've talked enough! Come on, lads, let's drag the prince from his hovel!
Vergen's not a cesspit for anyone to shit in. There are laws to abide, and Scalen Burden's job is to uphold them.
There's no law allowing a serf to threaten a king's scion. I, Silgrat, brother of Seltkirk, the greatest knight to walk Edirnian land, say so.
Does it matter who was born in a castle and who in a pigsty? Any fool can prejudge and condemn. It's easier to accuse than to prove guilt.
A peasant servant claims that Prince Stennis supposedly attempted to kill Saskia. Why would the prince do such a dastardly deed? Bear in mind how eminent is his lineage.
That's why! The mongrel covets the crown!
Do you even remember how valorous he was towards Saskia during the negotiations with Henselt?
Pretending to be with her, he was, sly fox. Taking the simple peasants in. But us lads ain't so dumb as you lords think.
See for yourselves how the commoners hate the prince, spitting venom like adders. They hatched a plot to dispose of him.
Saskia's servant said that...
Where is this servant, might I ask? If he's got something to say, why does he hide like a thief? The answer is simple. He's a fraud.
He's hiding to save his skin from you, whoresons. Squirrels have to guard him.
One last question. How could the prince poison Saskia? It's a known fact that servants taste wine from the barrels before the virgin sips it.
No need to poison the wine. Smearing the poison inside the chalice would be enough.
I never heard of anyone poisoning a chalice.
You haven't heard much then. One of the Emperor's forebears died after sampling some lamb. He was always scared of poison and ate supper with his cook. The murderer spread poison on one side of a knife. Then he cut the meat so that only a small piece was poisoned.
The Witcher's right. Give us Stennis.
Saskia's got her own chalice.
It was commissioned from one of the dwarves. The order came with a very detailed drawing.
Even so, how did it come into Saskia's hand?
Well, even though we know this already, this answer doesn't really solve it either way, so...
It's not clear how the prince poisoned the wine, but that doesn't mean he didn't do it.
Stennis is blowing hot and cold. Everyone knows that.
You were supposed to prove his guilt, not insult him, yokel.
Tell us who else would do it. A peasant wanting to hurt the miss? Never. It's cause of her you noble dogs can't ignore us. A pig won't cut its own throat. A peasant's not foolish enough to raise his hand against his savior.
Perhaps it is no peasant's deed. However, that doesn't mean the prince is guilty, fool.
Answer me this. Was not Stennis' room next to Saskia's? Do not the wines come from his own lice-ridden cellar? Can he not enter the Virgin's kitchen at will? Yes. His serene dumbhead the prince can, curses on his kin. Nobody in Vergen wants to kill Saskia. And even if they wanted, nobody but Stennis could do it.
You're wrong, Colton. Reverend Olkin wanted to get rid of Saskia. He thought she was a monster at heart.
Olkin was on Stennis' leash like a dog.
How dare you, lout! Do you imagine if someone sits next to a married lady, he's surely fucking her?
The priest tried to convince Prince Stennis to join the conspiracy.
Is Stennis some dimwit foundling that he dances to a lousy priest's tune? Olcan got what he deserved when Hensel cleaved his head. Now it's Stennis' time.
There is no proof the prince agreed.
The priest asked him for admittance to the kitchen.
So he didn't poison the Virgin himself, but allowed her to be poisoned.
Well, maybe, but...
Those are just words. Too much guesswork and not enough evidence. You can't convict anyone based on that.
Your Highness, this is dangerous.
I am not afraid. Fear is a commoner's trait, unfit for one with royal blood running in his veins. What do you want, to judge me? Is a prince a common thief who steals a dozen eggs at the market? You stand before royal majesty, and you raise your hands against it. In this world there are crimes that can be forgiven, and crimes that, by any means, cannot. Just as a mother killing her own child, or a man slitting his own brother's throat cannot be forgiven. A crime against one anointed by the gods themselves also cannot be condoned. He who raises hand against divine right is not worthy to walk this world. And what about he who poisons the Virgin of Edern? Firstly, Saskia is alive, so no one can blame me for her death. Secondly, you have no proof that it was I who tried to murder her. And thirdly, I assure all gathered here, I won't rise above the law. However, only she, the Virgin of Edern, can judge me. Can it? And if Saskia won't get well, who's gonna judge you? I believe she can be cured. But if the gods decide otherwise, we'll summon a coven of the wise who can pass just sentence.
Those are words worthy of a true sovereign!
I am the one you should look to for guidance. Let my deeds be the flame that lights up your darkness.
So, at this point, we can make a major choice that'll affect the rest of Chapter 2 and Chapter 3. Do we allow the mob to lynch Stennis, or do we just sort of have him arrested and put to the side? For some reason, that's up to Geralt to decide. Now, things to bear in mind, there's really no direct evidence that proves Stennis did it. However, there's a lot of circumstantial stuff showing that he had the means and possibly the motive, considering Saskia and the peasants were basically rebels before this war with Henselt. And chances are there will be no justice if Stennis is just arrested because he's the goddamn Prince of Edern. He has some political sway no matter what. At the same time though, having him lynched would make the whole area very unstable. I mean, Temeria is really unstable right now because Foltest is dead. Granted, Demavend was also assassinated first, so Plus, the peasants are kind of stupid. Kind of reminds me of the Communist Revolution in China, where they gave some local power to peasants. Well, it turns out being poor is not really a noble condition. It doesn't always make you strong morally. Giving a poor guy power might be just getting another asshole in charge. Anyway though, that's it for this episode. Next episode, we'll do whatever you guys decide. But until then, hope you liked this video and we'll be back next time. And of course, thank you very much for watching.